Thank you, George, and thank you for the opportunity to be here to give you a peek into where the rubber meets the road here on the UC San Diego campus, because it really is a flagship microgrid, which is a subset of the larger utility grid of SDG&E. And so today I'd like to first of all, just go over some of the principles of our 1,200-acre campus and our microgrid. One of the nicest things that have ever been said about us in a wonkish sense was by Forbes magazine, and this was the quote: "The ARPANET was the beginning of the internet, and the ElectraNet is the beginning of what is commonly called the smart grid." And so Forbes basically said that that here at UC San Diego and our microgrid is the beginning of the ElectraNet or the smart grid in an operational fashion. As an overview, we self-generate 92% of all of our electricity on an annual basis here on campus. We do it with 2 solar gas-fired turbines that in the year 2010 received an EPA Star Award, 1 of 3 in the country, for their efficiencies. We also have a 3 million gallon energy storage tank that uses waste heat from our gas turbines. We run it through what's called an absorption chiller, and that creates cold water. That cold water is stored in a 3.8 million gallon tank overnight, and then we pump that cold water throughout the campus in underground pipelines to cool our buildings. So we don't have electric air conditioners on the roof of our campus here. We also have a 2.8 megawatt fuel cell, and I'll talk a little more about that later, as well as the photovoltaics and our energy storage program that we're leading here. So for those of you that haven't been hang gliding over campus lately, let me show you what you're missing. This is an actual shot. This is not an animation. This is the fuel cell on the right flying over and at our East Campus utility plant. That plant serves 20% of our cooling capacity on the east side or on the other side of the freeway, and 100% during the winter time. We also have our Soytech concentrating photovoltaic system over there. So I want to build a visitor center at this site and have a platform up on the 2nd floor and a balcony. And that balcony will have the best vista of the future of energy that anyone could possibly see. Soytech has been in the news quite a bit. It's a concentrating solar photovoltaic. It takes the sunlight and concentrates it 500 times by a magnifying glass that sits at the front of each module. And that increased efficiency is about twice the efficiency, well, it's more than twice the efficiency of normal photovoltaic panels. It tracks the sun in 2 axes, and as a consequence of it being incubated here on campus, San Diego Gas and Electric approved 305 megawatts of photovoltaic systems to be located in the Imperial Valley. You've heard terawatts, megawatts. Well, let me put it in perspective. 305 megawatts is 1/4 of a nuclear power plant. And they brought to our San Diego region 400 jobs in Rancho Bernardo and 1,000 indirect jobs in the deployment of these systems. And here is the followon prototype, which is 22 kilowatts, and this is the actual design that will be installed in the Imperial Valley, and it sits out at East Campus Utility Plant today. So bringing Soytech, a French and German company, to the United States, incubating it, creating opportunities for deployment and creating employment is what we're all about. And what we're all about is lab to market. Photovoltaics on our own rooftop. We have off-campus, on our off-campus property, about 0.8 megawatts of photovoltaics on off-campus. On campus right now, we have 1.5 megawatts on our building rooftops, and we just signed a deal to put in another 780 kilowatts of PV. What's key about this, though, is that the total installed cost for these new systems on the rooftop will be $3.40 a watt. We had 4 bidders, and Sullivan Solar of San Diego beat the international competition in order to do that job. But the big news is, when we finish with this current phase, we will be virtually 100% saturated of our rooftop on campus for those rooftops that are architecturally suitable. Obviously, north-facing or dome buildings are not suitable, but of the suitable rooftops, we'll be 100% saturated. I'm bummed. My sandbox is full. And then, this is the Point Loma wastewater treatment plant, another project. Previously, it was flaring the surplus methane just into the atmosphere like a big lighter. And as a result, we entered into a partnership that would take this surplus methane and instead purify it to pipeline standards, to which we built this in a partnership, this purification plant. And as a result, that methane is injected into the SDG&E pipeline down in Point Loma. The people in Point Loma are using our methane, and we're using their natural gas as it passes by on the way down to Point Loma. So it's like a swap, if you will. But we get the renewable energy credit for what is produced. So as a result, we have installed a 2.8 megawatt molten carbonate fuel cell, again at East Campus. It is the largest commercially available fuel cell in the world, and it runs off of renewable fuel. But here's the great part. 10% of our entire campus load is met by a device that sits on the footprint of a tennis court. And we have an energy diet of a city of about 90,000 people. So if you have a tennis court in your community, then I've got a way to satisfy 10% of your demand with a renewable fuel. And so it's base load, 24/7. Electrification of the transportation sector, or decarbonization of the transportation sector, is a major initiative here on campus. 10% of all the Nissan Leafs in the country are sold here, right here in San Diego. And here's a shot of a number of different automobiles in front of our iconic library. So here's what we're doing. This is going to go quick. We currently have 25 eco-tality charging stations on campus. We will soon add another 16, and they have pigtails, charging stations for workplace applications, another 10 for fleet applications or motor pool, another 3 will be DC fast chargers. So when completed, UC San Diego will be the largest, most diversified portfolio of electric vehicle charging stations at any university campus in the world. We're also looking to add, never being satisfied, another 40 that will be even larger. And the purpose of this then is, instead of solving the chicken and the egg riddle, which comes first, infrastructure or cars, I make chicken omelets. And so we've got the infrastructure, we've got it installed, and now our objective is to go out and to encourage our faculty, staff, and students, as well as our own motor pool, to engage in electric vehicles. And so we are working with a number of dealers and car manufacturers to give a price, a special price for our individuals who participate in a consumer behavior study utilizing the infrastructure that we have created here on campus. The central utility plant, which is the backbone of our system, and it provides about 85% or the vast majority of our power, is what's called cogeneration. People ask me, when did this microgrid start on campus? The answer is 52 years ago. And that was when the UCSD took over this land area from the Marine Corps. It was barren, nothing but open space. And building A, the first building on campus, was the central utility plant. So from the beginning, the design of the district heating and cooling and the centralized and decentralized power started 52 years ago. And here's an overview. The last bottom half of this is actually the utility plant. And inside are two gas turbines. These are Mites. For those of you from San Diego, drive by solar turbines down by the airport. This is where they were manufactured. But the reason I show this picture, look how small this is. This little Mite supplies 40% of our campus's electricity. And you can move it in and out with a forklift. This is the thermal storage tank I alluded to earlier with respect to storing our chilled water overnight. And we cycle it continuously throughout the day. But here's the kicker. Our central utility plant saves our campus $800,000 per month. Do we do this for fun? Do we do it for glory? Do we do it for research? Energy is the second largest cost item on a campus, beyond salaries. And then our objective is to replicate what we have done here, not only on military bases, but also on Pacific Islands and other places. And that's exactly what we're doing, both with the Navy. Our subcontractors are now working with the Navy bases down at San Diego. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be announcing a major development with an island in Hawaii. So with that.
And we're doing it all right here at UC San Diego, a living laboratory for real-world solutions. We're focused on the future. That's the way we live.
And so does the planet.
Thank you very much.